It's good news and bad news for Telstra shareholders. The company says it's rolling in money, $3 billion in extra cash coming in over the next 3 years, but it's not going to plump up dividends for the next couple of years at least. Telstra has been briefing investors today about its plans for dealing with the National Broadband Network and more, and our reporter Simon Palin has been listening in. Simon, what's Telstra saying about how it's going to manage its billions?
Well, Nicole, today's briefing was largely used by Telstra to outline its plans around the National Broadband Network. Now, we already know that Telstra has secured $11 billion in payments over the next 10 years from Australian taxpayers. That's in return for facilitating the rollout of the National Broadband Network and also for cooperating with the NBN. And today's briefing was largely about letting the market know exactly what it plans to do with all that money. Now, the Telstra Chief Executive, David Thodey, says the company expects to have an extra excess cash of $2 to $3 billion over the next 3 years, as you said. And he's also confirmed a dividend payment of 28 cents per share, fully franked, over the next 2 years. So analysts say that's a pretty good result. That aside, there's been no talk of any share buybacks or of any potential acquisitions that could be made with all this spare cash. And of course, Nicole, all this spare cash is dependent on the success and the timeliness of the rollout of the National Broadband Network, which still has a few question marks over it, especially if there is a change in the federal government. Let's have a listen to what the Telstra CEO, David Thodey, had to say on that just a short time ago.
The current thinking coming from the opposition is that they would continue with an NBN but in a slightly different technology design that they believe would be faster and less expensive. In that situation, there isn't a lot of difference in terms of the flows that we get. So if that's their policy, I have little concern. However, if there was a different policy, very hard to speculate to really make any comment on that. But what has been publicly said, there should be no change.
So, Simon, what was said about the rest of Telstra's business?
Well, Nicole, on one hand, Telstra's business is looking pretty good as a result of this extra $11 billion coming its way over the National Broadband Network. But on a number of other fronts, Telstra's business is actually hurting. Its fixed line revenue is decreasing markedly. That revenue was one of its main traditional sources of its revenue, and that's being impacted significantly by the increasing use of the mobile phone. That's costing Telstra around $500 million every year. On another front, Telstra's directory business Census is also feeling the pinch, and analysts say Telstra really needs to increase its role in the mobile phone market for it to stay as competitive as it is now. Now, if details from Telstra were a little sketchy today, investors can expect more from the company when it releases its full year profits in August.
Simon Palin, thank you.
Thank you.